You scroll TikTok or Instagram, and it's the same thing every time. Spotless white rooms with barely anything in them, captions yelling, "Less is more." Marie Kondo is still pulling millions of views. The Minimalism subreddit, tens of millions of members. Have you ever stopped and wondered, what if the entire human race had never even heard of living with less? No Thoreau disappearing into the woods to write Walden. No Marie Kondo. No Steve Jobs. In that black turtleneck until the day he died, nobody ever landed on the idea that less could actually be more. What would the world look like right now? Stick with me. Today, we're figuring it out together. There's a famous UCLA study on middle-class families in Los Angeles. On average, each household owned around 300,000 items. They only looked at 32 homes, so take the exact number with a grain of salt. But the trend? Nobody can deny it. Modern humans own more stuff than any generation in history. But here's what's fascinating. The self-storage industry in the US, those rental warehouses you pay to hide, all your extra junk, is pulling in more than $45 billion a year, bigger than Hollywood's entire movie business. People are literally paying good money to store things they never use. Sounds insane, but it's real. Now bring it closer to home. That classic just-in-case hoarding instinct? It's in every American house. Closets stuffed with clothes you haven't worn in years, but can't throw out. Boxes of random stuff under the bed. Spare gadgets piling up in the garage. Even though you've already upgraded, it's not luxury. It's the collective scar from generations who knew what going without felt like. The Depression, real scarcity, baked into the bone. And now that instinct is turbocharged. Amazon, Walmart, TikTok shop flooding your feed with flash sales and free shipping every single day. Americans are dropping over $1 trillion on e-commerce, and the number keeps climbing. That old hoarding habit? Online shopping just slammed the gas pedal to the floor. So here we are, a society owning more and more, with minimalism as the only real counterweight. If that counterweight had never existed, a lot of people would instantly say, without minimalism, we'd buy even more. Economy explodes. Sounds like a win. Short term? Sure. Consumer spending drives 60 to 70% of GDP in developed countries. The math checks out. That's only half the story. Let's go deeper. Minimalism really took off. After the 2008 crash, millions lost homes, lost jobs, and suddenly saw the vicious cycle. Earn, buy, borrow more to pay it off, grinding them into dust. Marie Kondo's book, dropping in 2011, wasn't random. It was society's natural brake pedal hitting the floor. Without that brake, the consumer economy just keeps revving with no limit. U.S. household debt is already sitting at around $18.8 trillion, and that's with a chunk of the population actively choosing to buy less. Take the brakes away completely, debt spirals out of control, mass defaults, another financial meltdown. We already lived through 2008. Long term, no brakes. Car flies off the cliff. Fast fashion balloons into something genuinely monstrous. The industry already dumps around 92 million tons of textile waste every year. And that's with people buying secondhand, wearing things longer, opting out of the trend cycle. Without those people, you're easily looking at double. The landfills alone would be a crisis. Housing gets worse too. No tiny house movement, no one questioning whether 4,000 square feet is actually necessary. Demand for space just keeps climbing. Home prices, already brutal, get even further out of reach. And the biggest winner of all? Marketing and advertising. Because without minimalism, nobody ever learns to ask the one question that terrifies every marketer alive. Do I actually need this? Or did someone just convince me I do? On the flip side, a ton of the good stuff we have today simply wouldn't exist. The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, probably never gets born. Because FIRE is basically minimalism for your money. Spend less than you earn, invest the rest, and step off the work to spend to work again. Hamster wheel. No FIRE means people retire later with less leaning harder on government pensions, crushing pressure on the entire social safety net. Picture the hedonic treadmill. You buy the new thing. You get that rush. A few weeks later, you're right back at your normal happiness level. So you want more. You get used to it. You crave even more. The treadmill never slows down. It just keeps speeding up. Minimalism is the button that hits pause. It forces you to stop and ask, does this actually add real value to my life? Without that question, the treadmill runs 24/7, and nobody even knows they're on it. Kahneman and Deaton at Princeton found back in 2010 that once you hit around $75,000 a year, your day-to-day emotional happiness barely moves, no matter how much more you make. Later studies shift the number. Static, even up to $500K, depending on where you live and how you measure it. But the point stays the same. After a certain level, more stuff doesn't buy more joy. Without minimalism surfacing that truth, most people never wake up to it. They just keep running, buying, stacking up more, and still feel like it's never enough. Now add social media on top. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all built to make you compare yourself to everyone else. Without any counter content, no one posting. I'm thriving with just 10 outfits, no one making the case that owning less is a choice, not a failure. Your feed becomes a pure consumption engine with no off switch. According to the Global Footprint Network, we're already burning through resources equal to 1.75 Earths every year. Earth Overshoot Day in 2025 hit July 24th, meaning in just 7 months, we'd burned through the whole year's worth. From August to December, we were living on borrowed time from future generations. And that's with millions of people actively trying to consume less. Remove them from the equation, and Overshoot Day slides to early July, maybe June. We'd eat through the whole year's worth of planetary resources before we're even halfway through the calendar. Before I wrap this up, I want to push back on everything I just said. Is minimalism actually causing these positive effects, or is it just a symptom, a signal that something's broken, and not really the cure? Honestly, probably both. Minimalism is largely a movement for people who already have options. If you're wealthy enough to own things, you're wealthy enough to choose to own less. For people living paycheck to paycheck, living with less isn't a philosophy. It's just Tuesday. They don't buy much because they can't, not because they read some book. From that angle, minimalism looks a lot like a privilege, and plenty of self-described minimalists still spend just as much as everyone else. They've just shifted the budget from stuff to experiences. Flights, restaurants, weekend retreats. A long-haul flight wipes out a year of not buying fast fashion in carbon terms. So the minimalism saves the world story? Healthy dose of skepticism required. After all of that, I think the real power of minimalism isn't in the economy or the environment, even if it nudges both in better directions. It's in the language. Before the word minimalism existed, a lot of people felt quietly uneasy with their own consumption. The hollow feeling after a purchase, the low-grade dread of another package arriving, but they had no framework, no community, no one to talk to. Minimalism gave us words for that vague, uneasy feeling. And once you have the language, you can finally start fixing the problem. Without it, millions of us would keep sprinting on that hedonic treadmill, never understanding why we're so damn tired. If humans had never become minimalists, the consumer economy would balloon short-term, then risk total collapse long-term. Some industries would get enormous. But the things that create real lasting value, disciplined personal finance, sustainable design, the circular economy, would stay tiny or never exist at all. The mental pressure would be heavier. The planet would hit its limits sooner. But the biggest loss wouldn't be any of those numbers. It would be the question itself. What am I actually living for? And does all this stuff I'm stacking up actually serve that answer? Without minimalism, most people never think to ask it. Life gets noisier, more cluttered, more full. but not necessarily better. That's my take. What's yours? Drop it in the comments. If minimalism disappeared tomorrow, what would you miss the most? And hey, smash that like and subscribe so you don't miss the next What If video.